Welcome to the Dark Souls Speedrunning Guide. In this first episode, we'll take a look at the practice tools and resources that will be essential in helping you get through your journey of learning how to speedrun the game. The first thing you need to be aware of is the SoulsSpeedruns Community Wiki. Here, you'll be able to find basically any kind of speedrunning related information you might need, including a list of the current leaderboard categories, a getting started segment, a list with a bunch of tricks and skips and glitches and all that good stuff that you need for speedruns, as well as a list with the rules for the leaderboards. As I mentioned in the introduction to the guide, everything that I'll be covering in these videos can be found here, only in text form and probably more in depth. The second thing you need to be aware of is the Soul Speedruns community Discord server. You can join it through the link you will find in the wiki's homepage. Here, you will be able to chat with other members of the community about speedrun related topics as well as asking for help in the appropriate channels, where other members of the community will be able to answer your questions. Please keep in mind, however, that the people who use this server are normal humans with lives and don't work 24/7 to answer people's questions, so don't go making demands and be patient. In some channels of the Discord server, you will also be able to find pinned messages with relevant information, such as links to the tools that we'll be discussing next in this video. The first of these tools is a save organizer. This is a program that lets you easily create copies of your current save file status and load it later at will, allowing you to practice things over and over with just a click. For example, here I have my list of save files for the No Wrong Warp run. So if I wanted to, let's say, practice ONS, I just need to click it, select load, and then when I go into the game, I load my save file. Boom, I'm at ONS, and I can easily just go ahead and practice it. To download the save organizer, simply go into the link that I left in the description of the video and download the bundle version of the latest release. Once you have it downloaded, all you have to do is run the exe and it will open you this interface. The first time you open it, it will look something like this because you don't have it set up. In order to set it up, you go to Edit Profiles, you find your Dark Souls tab. It will look completely empty like the Elden Ring one does for me. That's because you need to find the save file location. In the case of Dark Souls, the save file location, you can find it in your Documents folder. There's this NBGI folder, and inside this one, there's a Dark Souls folder. In here, you will find this file that is called darks0005.sl2. This is your save file. You select this file, click open, and it will ask you if you want to make the directory of this save file the same place where the program stores all the backups that you create. I recommend that you do this. This way you always have your save files, the save files that you have saved alongside with the normal save file, but you can select another location if you want. It doesn't matter. All this means is that when you go into this file, you see all these folders. These are the folders that the program creates, and it stores the copies that it makes inside these folders. Once you have the location of the save file selected, you need to create at least one profile. In order to create a profile, you go to New, you'll give it a name. I will just call it New because it's just for the video. And when you close this and you go to the tab, you will have all these profiles that you've created. And in order to create a save file, simply, let's say, whatever you want to practice, you click import, and this will create a copy of your save file. Here, let me show you. If you go into this folder with your file explorer and you go inside the folder of that profile that you're editing, you will find this copy that you just made with the program of the save file. So you can also rename it after the fact with right click, rename, or F2, and let's call it test for the video. And it will also rename the file here. So if you see, if I go into my No Wrong Warp file and I go into my No Wrong Warp profile in the save organizer, you can see that all of the save states that I have here are just the files that the program has created here. One really handy thing that this program can do is you can set up a hotkey to load the save file. So for example, my hotkey is right now set to F4. This means I don't have to click out of the game every time I want to reload a save file. So for example, let's say I'm practicing Nido. I load into the save file and I don't know, I just jump off this cliff and go playing with the with the babies, whatever, and I just go out of the game. If I want to load back there, I just click F4, load back in, and I'm back and I'm back here. Also, you can set the save file to read only. That way, anytime you exit the game, your state doesn't update, and you're every time you quit the game and load back in, you are at the same spot that you were previously. I don't personally like that, but you can do that. The next tool that you need is the Dark Souls Gadget. This is basically a cheat tool that will be very useful for practicing certain things. The main things that it's useful for is it allows you to store a location, which is very useful for practicing like certain jumps or skips or stuff like that. It lets you alter your stats, give you items. It also lets you get like no damage, which is very useful for practicing boss fights. You can also get like no infinite poise, or you can disable AI. You can also make the bosses. You can give no death to the bosses to practice them infinitely, and it has a lot of very useful things. The most useful thing that it has is that it lets you hotkey for certain actions, so you don't have to, same as with the save organizer, you don't have to click out of the game to activate or deactivate certain things. So I can toggle the AI activated or not. I can toggle no death. I can toggle like the super speed on the character, toggle gravity, restore location, all of that, and it's very handy. So let me show you how a tool like this can be very useful. Let's say I want to practice the small jump across the chasm at the beginning of the Valley of the Drakes, but I'm all the way down here, and I don't want to run all the way down there normally because it's a long way, and I don't have a save file closed there. So one thing I can do is I can first off toggle gravity and collision so I can walk through walls and float on air, and I can also use my hotkeys to go up or down accordingly. I can also toggle no death, so if I accidentally run into a kill plane, I don't die. And I can also toggle super speed so I go fast. Another thing I can do from here is, let's say I want to practice this jump, so I can store my position here. I can either use the button on the program with store, or I can use the hotkey that I had set up on F2, which is way handier. So I just hit F2 here, I store my position, and then I can practice the jump. If I want to do it again, I just press F1 and I'm back there. So I can just do this over and over, and it's very handy. I just clicked F2 by mistake. But yeah, you get the idea. In the description of the video, I left you a link for the most up-to-date version of this tool. Unfortunately, this tool has gone through a lot of different versions made by different people and forks of the original tool. And I don't know the details, but I think there's been some controversy between the original author of the tool and some of the people who worked on forks for it. So the current version that I'm using is not available for download anymore. Instead, there's this one that's the same thing, but it also includes features for a mod called the Remastist mod, which is like a meme overhaul mod with like Halo weapons and stuff like that. But it's the exact same tool. It only has some extra features for the mod that you can just completely ignore and it won't affect anything. With these two tools, you are already set to learn whatever route you want. You can already make save files and have tools for practicing annoying things the most convenient way possible. But there's another one tool that I would like to mention, and it's used for routes where you farm a Black Knight weapon. In this game, there's some routes that use weapons from the Black Knights that have not 100% drop rate. So in those runs, you kill the Black Knight, and if it doesn't drop the weapon, the run you have to restart every time until it drops it. But that's not good when you're learning. So what you do when you're learning is you do the thing, you kill the Black Knight, and if it doesn't drop the weapon, you use a gadget to generate that weapon. So for example, if you're farming the Black Knight halberd, You can just go to melee weapons, do Black Knight, halberd, and every time you kill the Black Knight, you set a hotkey to create selected item, and you just hit that and do the run. But there's an even easier way to do it with another tool called Gadgetlemage. This does basically that I just described, but it does it automatically for you. So if you're running a route that uses the Black Knight halberd, you just select the Black Knight halberd here on from the drop down menu. You tick the automatically create weapon box, and you also want to tick the automatically delete shield box because the way the game works, it is impossible for you to get the weapon and the shield to drop at the same time. So it is impossible for you to get it both in a run. This way, your run will not be valid for a leaderboard, but you can still complete it and use it as a practice run. This is very useful when you're starting and even when you are experienced, but you are not like super consistent in the run. You want to do what we call gadget runs, which are runs that you do and they're not valid for the leaderboard, but you just do them as practice runs and they will work to get you familiarized with the run and build up consistency. So these are the three things that you'll want to have. I left links for all of three of them in the description. They don't need to be in any specific locations. You just download them, put them wherever you want, and then like create a shortcut on, I don't know, like the desktop or the home or whatever you want. Like I have them here, and that's all you need. Now with these tools, you are set up to start practicing. In the next video, we'll look into how to make controller rebind profiles through Steam, which is something that you need for Dark Souls speedruns in order to execute certain glitches and tricks. See you there.